Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Delphi murder case reached a conclusion as the family of two murdered girls headed home with a verdict. Plus, some Kentuckians are trying to learn the rules and regulations for medical marijuana ahead of its release in 2025.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. My name is Amelia Lee. It is 5:30. Today's date is November 12th. It's also time to check in with our friend meteorologist Megan Dusmel. And Megan, our friend the fog was back this morning, and it was a bit crisp as well. I had to wear a cardigan. That's the most I'll do right now in this kind of weather.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a crisp morning. If you're like me, you might want to go for a jacket, not a cardigan, a little bit heavier. And if you like it to be a little bit warmer, you might want to opt for a coat this morning. Those temperatures are looking to be quite cool. We're in the 40s for most of the area. There are some places a little bit cooler. Take a look at Williamsburg, 39 degrees, and Grundy is right at 40. Would not be surprised if it dipped down to that 39-degree mark. But we will be warming up, so you might want to shed that layer that you put on. But as I mentioned earlier, you have that jacket, but you won't need a raincoat. We're looking at that satellite and radar. Will be nice and sunny for most of the day. And as we get into those high temperatures, we'll be in the upper 50s. So a little bit warmer, not too much warmer though, right about that seasonal average. And as we go through the next couple of hours, those temperatures are only just going to increase until those high temperatures are reached around that 3 p.m. mark. Nice sunny skies during the day and nice clear skies over the evening. And I'll have that Air H 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes. Amelia?
Megan, thank you. A verdict has been returned in a high-profile murder case out of Delphi, Indiana. Richard Allen was found guilty of murdering 13-year-old Abby Williams and 14-year-old Libby German in 2017. Prosecutors say Allen cut their throats and left their bodies near a hiking trail. Questions about Allen's mental health and a lack of DNA evidence came up during the trial, but ultimately jurors found him guilty of 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of felony murder. Allen's sentencing hearing is scheduled for December 20th, and he faces up to 130 years behind bars. New details have emerged in a Southern Kentucky murder investigation after a woman's body was discovered in a house destroyed by fire. The fire broke out Friday in the Mill Springs community of Wayne County. Mary Fulton was found dead in the home. Police arrested her son, Joseph Fulton, after he reportedly confessed to shooting his mother and setting the house on fire. According to a complaint warrant, a neighbor heard a gunshot coming from the Fulton home and saw the house on fire shortly afterward. Officials say Joseph then went to his father's house, admitted to the crimes, and asked his father to kill him to avoid going to jail. He was later arrested and charged with murder, arson, and abuse of a corpse. A Whitley County woman was charged with drug trafficking. Police arrested 44-year-old Lisa Bryant of Williamsburg in a business parking lot. Police were dispatched to the scene after a report of a woman passed out. Police found what they believed to be meth. Bryant faces multiple drug trafficking charges and 1 count of driving under the influence. She was taken to the Laurel County Correctional Center. Crews responded to a home on fire in Somerset. Somerset first responders were dispatched to a home on Rainbow Terrace Drive. Crews put out a fire they say started inside a cooking stove. No injuries were reported and the residents were able to return to their home. A new study highlights loopholes that could let kids bypass online regulations to buy e-cigarettes. Researchers looked at attempts to buy flavored nicotine vaping products from 78 websites and have them delivered to private homes. They found among 105 deliveries, delivery personnel scanned the package receiver's ID only 1 time. 78% of the products were delivered with no delivery interaction. A Kentucky superintendent responded to a social media controversy involving a middle school choir. Superintendent Patrick Richardson says the Northern Middle School choir teacher was trying to get President-elect Trump's attention with a song called Trumpet. Richardson said, quote, "The intent of the song was to get invited back to the upcoming presidential inauguration. The timing to introduce the song was not in good judgment, considering that it was immediately following the election," end quote. Richardson went on to say they have addressed the situation. The winner of the 29th District State Senate write-in campaign is a self-described Trump Republican. And WYMT asked Pineville Mayor Scott Maiden today how Trump won so convincingly.
I think the #1 driving issue that people vote on is their pocketbook, and there's no doubt our economy has got some challenges. And you know, if the border thing is a crisis, I mean, you can slice it, dice it, however you want to do it. But 2 weeks ago, my police chief came in and said, "Hey, we picked up 5 people, you know, last week or last night, and we tried to take them to the jail. They couldn't take them because they didn't have identification. We called ICE. They couldn't. They wouldn't return calls, so we had to let them go."
You can hear more from Scott Maiden on Issues and Answers. You can find that on our website or the WYMT News app. A vote that will decide who will replace Mitch McConnell as the Republican leader in the Senate is scheduled for Wednesday. McConnell is stepping down from his leadership position. Senators John Cornyn, Rick Scott, and John Thune are running to replace him. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul has endorsed Rick Scott. McConnell has not said who he supports as his successor. Kentucky's governor will be in Lexington today for a tourism announcement. Andy Beshear's office says he'll unveil a new initiative to promote Kentucky. There aren't many specifics in the press release. The plan is meant to help the economy, bring in new workers, and increase tourism statewide. The governor and leaders from across the state will give details at Keeneland this afternoon at 1. Medical cannabis is set to become legal in the Commonwealth on January 1st, and that's less than 2 months away. As the start date nears, some people are educating themselves on the medical cannabis business. Jessica Umbro sat in on one class.
As is with anything new, some Kentuckians may still have questions about the Commonwealth's budding medical cannabis program, and some found themselves back in the classroom, ready to learn all about it.
I want to give people factual information about what medical marijuana is, what the research actually shows.
Diane Vance, retired director of forensic science at Eastern Kentucky University, says she wants her students to understand the advantages and potential side effects of medical cannabis. She says some are weighing how medical cannabis could alleviate long-lasting pain.
Often the pain is not well relieved with over-the-counter, and people do not want to get on opioids, even if they could.
Students had a range of experiences and pre-existing knowledge about medical cannabis.
It's about time that Kentucky is catching up to the rest of the world.
Raymond Lauk says he's held a medical cannabis card in Illinois for 5 years and is hoping to learn about how Kentucky's system will function.
I had been on heavy-duty migraine medications for decades, and once I started taking the medical marijuana, I got off of those primarily.
Well, Margie Billiter, a nurse for 4 decades, says as an independent pharmacy owner with her husband, she's hoping to pass on accurate information to her customers.
There's a lot of people that I think can possibly benefit from this. We've kind of felt like it was important to have accurate information to be able to share with our customers.
The Team Kentucky Office of Medical Cannabis will hold their lottery drawings for dispensaries in the coming weeks. Region 3 throughout 11 will be held on November 25th, and Regions 1 and 2, which include the 2 dispensary licenses in Fayette County and 2 dispensary licenses in Jefferson County, will be held on December 16th. Dozens of women from throughout the state are gathering in Lexington this week. The Kentucky Women in Agriculture Conference brings people together from various backgrounds in the agriculture industry. Throughout the years, the organization has seen women go from serving in a background role to running and owning their own farming operations. But women have also transitioned into roles outside of the field.
But it's also much more than that. We have a lot of professional women that are in agribusinesses, agritourism. We have people that are agricultural loan officers, attorneys, just kind of the whole gamut.
Kentucky Agriculture Commissioner Jonathan Schell also spoke last night. He signed a proclamation declaring today, November 12th, as Kentucky Women in Agriculture Day. Well, it has been 1 week since the election, and one elected official is making waves after being elected a council member for the city of Campton, then getting the most votes, making him the vice mayor of the city. His name is Jake Denniston, and he's 18 years old. He says he's honored to be serving in this position at such a young age.
It never mattered to me what place I came in as long as it was top 4. I just wanted to add a new perspective. I can do that from vice mayor or just a general council position. But it felt good. It was rewarding, I guess, because I did work pretty hard, and I would say this, I've probably been at some people's houses more than their families were.
Deniston is taking a year off in between high school and college before he starts studying political science next fall. When we return, the world's most famous cube is now 50 years old, and puzzle solvers everywhere are celebrating its challenge.
A week ago, we saw temperatures in the upper 70s. Today, the upper 50s. I'll have more information coming up.